now I'm at 600 and some rounds now.
Wow.
But it's been it's exciting times, especially for the heavyweight division. And I'm looking forward to October the 15th at the Barclays Center with Robert Helenius. And it's going to be an amazing fight. I must say, although we've been sparring partners for a very long time and we know each other in the ring, but don't make no mistake that when it's time to turn it on, we're both going to be able to turn it on and get a crowd a great fight, and they leave home with another memorable moment in time from me and Robert at the Barclays Center. So this is going to be amazing. I just can't wait. Training has been hard. It has been fun as well. And it's been interesting. I can say also, just the different traveling and locations as you've seen me from Vegas to Alabama, then back to Vegas, then back to Alabama. So it's been interesting times and exciting times for myself, and I'm just ready to go at this point in time.
Has that been good for you, Deontay, because it kind of breaks things up and it makes things fresher when it comes to training camp? Because make no mistake about it, when you're in training camp, I'm sure it could get a bit monotonous, and it's not necessarily the most fun thing in the world. But I feel like with you changing scenery, that it sort of revitalizes you and it re-energizes you in the heart and in the heat of training camp. Is that fair to say?
Man, you hit the nail on the head, Ray. It definitely has enlightened me as far as different things that are available for me. It's changing up the location as far as changing the scenery, changing certain way we train. You can go many years, 10 years, 20 years of doing the same thing, and it becomes boring. It becomes where it's just a regular training. We're preparing for the next fighter. We're doing the same thing, and but this time we changed up a lot, and it made it fun to train. It made it more exciting to train. Especially switching locations. I made it my business to pick other locations in my pre-camp, and then I always got to come home and finish with sparring and stuff back in Alabama. But that's something that has been new to me, and I think we're going to stick with the regimens of that. That definitely have refreshed me being in the business of boxing, and I'm looking forward to displaying my thing amongst the 1,000 that will be there and the millions that's going to be watching.
Well, Deontay, I know a lot of the media wants to talk to you. I mean, they are lined up like you wouldn't believe, like how they're going to be lined up at the Barclays Center next Saturday, October 15th in Brooklyn. I'm going to turn it over to Andrew Roberts, who's going to be handling and making sure that the media has questions for you. If you have questions for Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, raise your hand and then go ahead. When we call upon you, unmute yourself and ask your question to the former heavyweight champion of the world, looking to become a two-time heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder. Andrew, it's all you.
Thanks very much, Ray. Appreciate that. Deontay, real quick, before we get started, is it possible to turn your phone horizontal, or does it need to stay vertical? Excellent. Thank you very much, Deontay.
All right.
We're going to open up our first question with Keith Idle, boxing scene. Keith, please unmute yourself and you can ask your questions.
Hey, Deontay, I was just wondering if you could tell us approximately what weight you plan to come in next week on the scale.
Somewhere between the 220s, somewhere up in that. Weight is not going to be what we worry about in this fight or fights in the future. We gained a lot of weight the last fight. Just others' expectation of seeing my body a certain way, and I was interested in seeing my body frame in a certain way as well. But at this moment in time, I go back to what I'm used to and what's comfortable to me and what's comfortable with my body frame, and that's going to be around by maybe the 220s or maybe under.
Deontay, I know why you went up in weight the last time, because you had talked about it a lot before the fight. Did you feel uncomfortable? Did you feel you were too heavy in hindsight, or how do you feel about being 238 for that fight?
Yeah, I felt a little sluggish, a little heavy. I mean, you got to understand, I never been 240 ever in my life before, but it was an experiment that I wanted to try, and we did what we had to do to get the weight put on there, and that's a spirit, that's a experience up in the history books for me. So, the only way to become wise is applying knowledge to life, and we've gained a lot of knowledge from that, and now we know what to do leaning forward. So,
I just have one last question for you. During the process after your loss to Fury in the last fight, how close did you come to retiring, and then what was it that made you come back?
Well, I was like 85% out, maybe 15% in. I just felt like I accomplished so much. I've done so much within the business of boxing. I've achieved a lot, and I've done very, very, very well with my finances, to the point where I don't need the business anymore. The business need me, and it's a great feeling to be on the other side of the field, because in my percentage, 98% of fighters don't have nothing to show for once it's over. The only thing they have to show for is a medical history of bills and Parkinson's and speech impairments and the like thereof. The only people that really succeed and still go on to have things to show for, is the promoters and managers. They can go years and years. They can still support their children and still take their children and their grandchildren and support them, while fighters, have nothing to show for. Many times you have old school fighters that, back in the day, the only thing they can say is, oh, he was a great fighter. Back in his time, he was a bad man. But if you look at him and you look at his finances, he can't even support himself. And it's kind of backwards to me, because as the fighter, you are the product. You are what people are coming to see. And then without you, there's nothing, and that's how I feel about that. But what made me come back is being presented a statue. I'm still young, it ain't like I'm old or about to die. That's when people want to give you your flowers and say how great you are when you're retired, or when you're finna get ready to die or have died. And for me, it's not that case. I'm still young, and I was presented a statue. So all my accomplishments have been set in stone within a statue. And to see so many people around the world to come and join hand in hand and unite and commune with me and my children on me getting presented the statue, it made me feel great. And just to see so many men and women, share a tear, and men, break themselves down and tell their kids, this is a real king. This is what this is right here is motivation. This is encouragement right here. This is what you want to be like. And once I seen that, it just kind of made me feel like there's more to that I can do. I'm still young. I only want 3 more. I got 3 more years left in this business that I'm a take part in. And I just felt like it was more for me to do, because I inspire so many, because I motivate so many. And some people live by every word that I say, and they apply it to their life. And that's how you become wise. So, sometimes you have to see certain things, to really realize it, because I hear a lot of things, and I get messages from a lot of things, but it does your heart a little something different when you're able to see it right in front of your face.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Deontay, and thank you, Keith. Our next question is going to come from James Bell with the Boxing Source. James, please unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
All right, for Deontay, 2 questions. Going with the thing with your statue, you did say that, you had a lot of fans there in attendance for the unveiling, but you also, have fans that were able to, still go in there and see the statue. And like you said, motivate them to, become better people. So how is it to have that type of impact, not just within, your city and your state, but all across the country and all around the world?
I mean, it makes me feel very powerful, to know that I motivate so many to know that I inspire, and to know that certain men, maybe even women, but I know certain men, take every word that I say, and some of them live by what I say. And it makes you powerful. It allows me to use my power for the greater good, though. I always love to see people do well. I always love to see people happy and at peace, because I always tell people I'm soaking in my happiness and my peace, and I want others to feel and see what that looks like. And I can only go off of my life and certain experiences, and I display it. I speaks about it. That's why people love me, because I'm straightforward. You don't get half with Deontay Wilder. You get this truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that's where I am. And it just feels good to be able to have so much to have so much power to motivate people, and to be the one that people even call on when they need certain advices about things, whether they're poor or rich. I have all types of people call me for advice about different things, whether it's about life or whether it's about a certain thing to invest in, or any little thing. So it does my heart warm to know that people put my opinion in hand.
Yes, I've seen that firsthand with a couple of fans that have been there in attendance to see the statue. My next question is, with you being under the tutelage of Malik Scott, tell us about the familiarity that you and Malik Scott have had over the course of time that he has been your trainer.
Say that part one more time, please. You cut out on this side.
Okay. With you being under the tutelage of Malik Scott, kind of talk about your familiarity with you and him as your head trainer.
Yeah, man. First off, me and Malik had shared the ring before, and we was I met Malik back in the Poconos in camp, getting the Thomas Adamic ready for one of the Klitschko's, and that's where I first met Malik, and we clicked instantly, upon meeting each other, greeting each other. Our condos was right down the hall from each other, so I invited him over. I invited his family over at the time. I cooked for them, and we talked, and it was amazing, and I'm on the phone, bro. And to be able to make him one of my head coaches, it was something that was a no-brainer, because I had him, and one of the main factors business boxing to have people that trust around you, and that knows that person has your back, especially your coach, especially if he knows certain ways and certain things about you. I always buy by this saying, what's understood don't have to be explained. And with Malik, I don't never have to explain certain things. He knows my body language. He knows sometimes how to complete a sentence, what I'm about to say, and that just come with being able to come with experience of being amongst each other, loving each other, and going through certain situations with each other. And I love him to death, man. And I'm glad he was part of the team. Win, lose, or draw, man. That's my brother for life.
All right, great. Thank you, James. Our next question is going to come from Ben Baby with ESPN. Ben, please unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Yeah, hey, Deontay, thanks for taking the time to do this. Coming off of, just really curious, when you come off the losses that you do, what's probably maybe the toughest thing mentally when you're getting back in your training that you kind of maybe have to overcome or compartmentalize, especially for the career you had prior to the trilogy with Fury?
I think for me, I think everybody has a different opinion of how they feel or what they have to overcome. But for me, it's just being able to have the long layoffs and then just get back into training, because I wear many hats. I'm just not a fighter. I do so many different things. I run multiples of companies and stuff like that a lot of people don't know that I do, because I don't display it. I don't put it amongst the world, to know information about me, so for me, it's just getting myself back together, getting in shape, being able to figure out certain things that makes me happy, and just like with the training, I'm glad that we're able to switch up locations. That was something new for me that I've never done in my career as a professional. And to change locations, to be able to do different exercises and stuff like that, man, it made it refreshing for me, to find that love, that passion back into the business.
Were there any things outside of some of the stuff that you mentioned outside of maybe training or boxing that really brought you joy, when you were coming back from those Fury fights?
I was able to put time in for things that I was passionate about doing. For one, existed music. I've always been into music. I always loved it. And now that I had time, I was able to produce a song and do many things and so forth and so on. So it definitely has been refreshing for me to be able to have that time and to do certain things.
And last question from me. I mean, how much do you wonder or do you think about it all if you're the same kind of fighter you were before the trilogy? Obviously, I feel like that probably took a lot out of both of you guys. Has that been something on your mind as you kind of enter toward, this next chapter of your career?
That is to be continued. That is to be seen. I can only speak of what I've been doing now and what I've been doing in sparring, and I can say I look amazing. I haven't lost any steps or fundamentals or anything like that. If anything, I've increased. I've went back to the fundamentals of thing and added some other things in as well. So I'm looking forward to displaying my talent amongst the thousands that's going to be there and the millions that's going to be watching. I think that a lot of people will probably be impressed. And a lot of people probably say, oh, he learned this and learned that. It's nothing that I learned. It's something that I've always been able to do, but just applying certain things a little bit more than others.
All right, perfect. Thank you for those questions, Ben.
Yeah,
Our
man.
next question is going to come from Adrienne Romero with CSI Sports. Adrienne, please unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Hey, Deontay, hope you're doing good. So last time that you fought in New York was back in 2019. Are you excited about getting to go back there?
Oh, most definitely. I'm very excited. The Barclays Center holds something special to my heart. It's almost like a second home for me. All my most devastating knockouts, all my electrifying knockouts, and my most exciting memories have been there. And it feels good to be able to go back there and then add on to more memories. And October the 15th, looking to gain more knockouts and add to the history of Deontay Wilder at the Barclays Center.
Yeah, love that. And so, by that time it'll be over a year. Or it'll be over a year since you last fought against Fury. Do you feel any pressure at all going back into the ring?
I don't feel no pressure at all. No pressure. 0%. I tell people all the time I'm soaking in my happiness and my peace, and I do mean that. And with that being said, this reign for me is all about being happy and being at peace all the way through. I don't have nothing to prove to anyone. I've done an amazing job with my career, my accomplishments, and my finances. So it's been amazing for me to the point where I have nothing to complain about. So with this reign, it's all about me being happy and doing the things that make me happy. Whatever we gain, that's a plus, and what we don't gain, then hey, it wasn't for me. It wasn't meant for me. But what God has for me is for me, and we're going to take it as that.
Perfect. Deontay, thank you for those questions, Adrienne. Our last questions for Deontay are going to come from Ismail Abdul Salam. Ismail, please unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Thank you. Deontay, when we spoke with Robert earlier, he mentioned that he's looking forward to trying to match your showmanship, which was a little surprising. So I wanted to know, when you were sparring with him, did you get any of that showmanship that we may have not seen in the ring yet from him, as far as like his personality?
You said the showmanship?
Right. He feels like he can match you as far as the taunts that you've been doing, some of the knockdowns you've had. He feels he can match that. So I'm wondering if you've seen any of that in the sparring that you've had with him, because we've never really seen that from him in the ring.
Well, with sparring and doing something where it actually count is two different things. You know, sparring, you know, a lot of guys in sparring is more practice. You know, you can quit, you can call timeouts, you can, many different things in sparring that you can do that you can't do in a physical fight. So, you know, if Robert feels that he's going to be able to match me, then, you know, you have to take his word for it until proven wrong. Robert is a great guy. Him and his trainer, we love when they come down to Alabama. We always show them love and Southern hospitality, as they show us the same. You know, coming from Finland. So, you know, is no animosity, no hate between us. And I would love to see him match the showmanship in the ring. I think it'll bring more excitement to the fight. And I never faced him in these situations of where it counts. So who knows what it's going to bring out of him. And we all know that when fighters fight me, they train the hardest that they ever trained in their life, and they bring their A++ game in the ring. So we'll see what happens. I hope he be able to match me and bring that much excitement as I'm going to bring come Saturday night, October the 15th at the Barclays Center.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Ishmael. Thank you to all the media that joined us today. And thank you very much, Deontay, for your time as well. With that,
man, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you. With that, I'll turn it back over to Ray Flores to close things up and get Deontay's closing comments.
Deontay, just want to get your final thoughts as we're a little over a week and a half away until you make it to Brooklyn, Barclays Center. You talked about those spectacular knockouts. You talked about what you're looking to do, 3 more years in your career, and then that'll be it. But, you know, the second part of your career, I feel like it begins next Saturday, October 15th. What do you want to tell all the fans and the media as we are 1 week away from fight week?
Man, to all my fans and everyone that's been supporting me and sending love, man, I want to say in the bottom of my heart, I love and respect everyone. I appreciate everyone. You know, October the 15th is the return of the king, and I'm looking forward to coming back to my second home, man. And it does my heart warm. That's why I'm smiling. I'm all smiles, Ray. You know, this second reign is really going to be filled with a lot of joy and excitement for me and those that love and support me as well, you know. And here I am, you know, bringing back the heavyweight division as far as the excitement is concerned. And I'm looking to put on great fights, you know, like I've always have seeked and have done. You know, it's not going to stop with me. I only want to put in 3 more years, Ray. By the end of 40, we don't have to be guessing about Deontay Wilder. We don't have to assume. You hear it from the horse's mouth now, because, you know, a lot of media, they rather be first than being correct, especially when it pertains to me, you know. But you hear it right here from me. You know, I only want to give it 3 more years to the end of 40, by me turning 41, and then I want to be done with it. I want to pursue other things that I have set for myself, and I want to enjoy the rest of my life with my children, and build for this for this generation wealth. So here we go, guys. October the 15th. I can't wait. And you already know when Deontay Wilder's finna get ready to fight, you know I'm gonna have you on the edge of your seat. You don't know what's gonna happen, but when it happens, you know, bam, baby, good night. So you don't want to be the one that say, what happened? And the other person say, you missed it, and you have to look on the projectron and see what happened. Be there, be ready, be in your seats, grab your food. Don't let nobody distract you. Stay focused and pay attention to what's going on, because it's going to be a great night of boxing come October the 15th, baby, and I can't wait. Until then, love, peace, and God bless, and always, let's do it. Bomb Squad!
Have a great rest of your afternoon, everybody. We'll see you in Brooklyn for Fight Week. Take care. D, always a pleasure, my man.
All right, Ray. I'll see you later, brother. Peace.
Much love, my man.
Yeah, baby. Likewise.